Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Housing Issues with Miguel Alcacio and Jose Platz. Today we will be discussing the process of obtaining a mortgage loan on a home purchase. We would like to utilize this forum to openly discuss any topic that is mortgage or real estate related. So if any viewers out there have any questions, please feel free to call us at 312-738-1060. Anna will be available to take your phone calls. Again, that's 312-738-1060. Jose and I are both loan officers at Neighborhood Lending Services of Chicago. We are the lender for Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. NHS is one of the largest nonprofit housing agencies in the country, with resources to help with the process of buying, keeping, and maintaining a home. At NHS, we believe that everyone deserves a chance at affordable housing. We accomplish this through education in our workshops, down payment assistance programs, and our lending products. We will talk a little bit more about those later on in the show, but first, we wanted to discuss the process of obtaining a loan when you're purchasing a home. So one of the first steps in this process will be obtaining a pre-approval. You can't go shopping without obtaining a pre-approval letter. Most realtors won't schedule any showings or won't take you out without knowing how much you qualify for. So that's a really important step in the process here. So some of the documents that we will require in this process are going to be pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns, and W-2s. Additionally, we will have to run your credit in order to determine your total liabilities and how they compare to your monthly income. Jose Platz will discuss a little bit more about the credit criteria and what our underwriters are going to look for when they look at your credit report.
Yes, the underwriter is going to be looking, and the processor and the underwriter after that will be looking for your credit to see the credit, and we're looking at three trade lines paid on time for the last 12 months. That could be a mixture of 2 credit cards and installment loan, open for the last 12 months and paid on time. So also they're going to be looking to see if you haven't had any bankruptcy or judgment. And those bankruptcy and judgments would have to be after 4 years and as of date of discharge. And not only that, you have to have a strong letter of explanation to the underwriter to let her know or let him know what exactly happened and why did you went that route, and reestablish credit for the last 24 months, basically after bankruptcy or a judgment, and 24 months for 3 trade lines paid on time. And basically that's the criteria. If you have any collections, they have to be taken care of. The underwriter will probably override some medical collections to about $700 or $800. But for the most part, everything else is going to be taken care of. And if it's real difficult, then we will send you to a counselor to help you in this process. And then once you're ready, they'll tell us that you're ready, and we pull your credit report again, even though you don't have to, because the credit report is good for 90 days. Then at that time, we'll just need the receipts for the payments of the several collections that you may have. And if you don't, that's a faster, process. And hopefully underwriting will approve it.
All right, so next here, after you've gotten your pre-approval letter and you've gone out shopping with your realtor and hopefully you have found the home of your dreams and the home that you love, the next step would be to originate the loan. So in this next process, we might ask for some updated documents such as bank statements or pay stubs, as well as the accepted purchase contract for the home that you have made an offer on. In this stage, you will also receive a loan estimate and other important documents at origination. which Jose can talk a little bit more about some of the other origination documents that you might be looking at when you come and speak to a loan originator.
Well, the most important document obviously would be the documents that are federally necessary to give you, which is the intent to proceed and the loan estimate. The loan estimate is an estimate of numbers depending on as to how much you were pre-approved. And then when you have your purchase contract, the whole thing is going to change because now we have real numbers. And you have the lending estimate, the intent to proceed, and also the document that states that you've received the lending estimate. Those are the three documents that have to be looked at and signed, and then we can move forward on them.
So let me ask you this, Jose, because a lot of people are probably going to ask with the loan estimate, is that actual figures that the customer can take to the bank as final?
Not necessarily, because again, for instance, if we have a purchase contract of about 200,000, and the house didn't appraise, and we probably go up to 220. Numbers are going to change, so they can be changed, as long as we give the client another estimate,
With the new figures.
with the new numbers.
Right.
The final one is given before it goes to closing. The called the closing document. Closing disclosure. Basically, once you sign it, then we acknowledge that we received it. No numbers are going to change. What you see is exactly what you're going to get. In not only the numbers, but the.
So let's, looks like we're getting a caller here. Looks like Anna's getting a caller. I'd like to go live with it. Anna?
All right. Yes.
Caller, you're on the air?
Well, yes. Good evening. My name is Ray, and I want to ask a serious question. I'm a Mexican American, 70-year-old Vietnam veteran, and I want to know if of all these rules for U.S. citizens, which should be, that I agree with you, but the people of DACA who get everything free, do they have to have the perfect credit that U.S. citizens have to have, or are they just given priorities because they're DACA people? That's all I have to ask. I'm a citizen of the United States, and it seems that we have harder times getting stuff. Veterans also, than the people of DACA. They get most everything free. So I just want to know. Thank you, sir, for listening to me, and I'll wait for your answer.
All right. It sounds like we're having, I couldn't really understand the question. The phone was broken up a little bit, but if you're still on the air, maybe you could repeat that?
More precisely.
No, I guess the caller is off. Okay.
Well, I think what he mentioned is that there are veteran loans which we do not offer, and he mentioned something about DACA. We don't, at this point, we're not doing any loans through DACA. We are definitely treating everybody the same, if that was your question.
Oh, it looks like we have another caller. Okay.
Okay, let's refer to the other caller. Maybe the question will be answered.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Hi. So I wanted to ask this. Is there an income requirement in order to work with you? I ask because I think, enough for a down payment, but I would probably be considered low income, and I just wanted to know if you needed to, make a certain amount of money in order to qualify.
No, that's a good question. So there isn't a minimum income per se. However, your income is tied to the amount that you're going to be able to afford. So meaning that we're not going to put you in a loan that's going to be over your housing ratios. For instance, if your monthly income is, let's say, $3,000 a month, we take 31% of that monthly income to help you qualify for your loan, and that's the ratios that we stick to. So no, there isn't a minimum monthly income per se, but it is pretty relative to the loan amount that you're going to get qualified for.
Let me elaborate a little bit. For instance, the lesser the income, the lesser you're going to be pre-qualified for. And for instance, if you have a $1,500 income, it's not the same as $3,000 a month, meaning that the amount of purchase is going to be a lot lower. Nowadays, I would say you can't buy anything for under $145,000, maybe a little bit more. So basically, the lesser income, the lesser you're going to be pre-approved for, if your credit is
Okay.
good.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So thanks for that phone call. So we were in the origination stage here, and Jose just talked a little bit about the some of the documents that might that a borrower might encounter at the origination stage. Now, the next process, or the part of the process here, is when your file is going to be assigned to a processor. So in this stage, the processor will verify employment and income. Some reports might be ordered, appraisal inspections. We'll also need to complete any other conditions that were issued by your underwriter. And then additionally, Neighborhood Lending Services has a very unique feature where our in-house construction department will conduct a housing quality standards inspection, and Jose can elaborate a little bit more about this process.
Once we have received a purchase contract and everything has been approved, it goes to the processor. The processor will request a housing quality standards inspection. And one of our construction specialists is going to go out to the property, and the property is going to do a cost estimate as to what has to be done. And then once you get that cost, you will talk to your construction specialist to see if you can interview a contractor. You can bring your own contractor, or we can give you a list of contractors that have done business with our clients. And I would tell you that let's say you have to need 20,000 repairs. And you get public funds, which I think we're going to talk about that. What's going to happen is that if they're within 10% of each other, they're all three are fine. You're going to select the one that you feel most comfortable with. So basically, after that, it goes back to the construction specialist, and the construction specialist will sign a contract as to whomever you decide to go with. It's going to be signed by us, it's going to be signed by you, the contractor, and then we're ready. Goes back to the processor to change numbers.
Now, you're talking a little bit more about if the customer decides to go with a purchase with a rehab, correct? However, if they decide just to go straight purchase and the housing quality standards inspection passes, then...
Oh, definitely. If it passes, then there's nothing to worry, but then probably the customer is going to come out with a wish list. I want my bathroom remodeled, get it updated, the same with the kitchen. And now it turns into a purchase rehab.
Right.
But yes, if the house is clean, you like it, everything's okay, it's a faster and smoother process to basically close this loan within a standard 45-day commitment.
Awesome. So the next stage here in this process will be where we should be able to get to final approval now that the inspections and appraisals have come back and everything looks great. We should be able to get a final approval from our underwriter. as long as all the conditions and inspections all come back, in order, then we should be able to go smoothly after this. And at this point, we should be able to coordinate a closing with all parties involved and finally move on to the good part here. So Jose can discuss a little bit more about what happens at the closing.
Basically, once the underwriter gives a final means a final review from the processor. They will send it to the underwriter, and she says, we're ready, it's good. It goes back to the processor, and the processor will send it to closing. Obviously, after that, you will get a 3-day closing estimate or closing document that by law, no numbers can be changed. So once you get those 3 days, and we're scheduled, then I would say the closer will send an email to the attorneys involved, the seller and the purchaser, that we're ready for closing. And then once we have that closing done, scheduled, then it's up to the attorneys. And I can tell you one thing, at least I attend to all my closings. And I'm sure Miguel does as well.
I do.
And also remember that we're federally and state licensed. So we're not brokers. We work for an institution that does not work on commissions. We have regular salaries, so don't be afraid out there.
So if somebody wanted to maybe work with Jose or work with myself here, I'll put up some information here where you can contact us here. Here's our business cards, and you can either reach Jose Pletz or Miguel Alcacio, and our information is right there to our direct lines and our emails. But hopefully we can get a few more calls and be able to answer some other questions. Additionally, we have our website that you can go on and find out some more information about purchasing or purchase with the rehab. We do also offer refinances or refinance with rehab, as well as just straight home improvement loans, which the home improvement and the purchase rehabs are pretty unique products that NLS offers, and I think that really good loan products that not too many lenders offer these days. And maybe Jose can talk a little bit more about our loan products as well as some of the down payment assistance programs that are offered if you were to come and see one of us.
Yes, most definitely. We have purchase and purchase rehabs, which is basically, the strong product that we have. We have a conventional loan that has no private mortgage insurance. That's very important because it's conventional, no private insurance, and the only thing you have to do is come up with 3%. Now, if it does have a rehab portion, in most houses that you purchase nowadays, especially the income that the customer has is lower, it would probably contain a rehab so you add the purchase amount for the purchase contract and you add the rehab and some of the closing costs, and we have a 3% estimate as to what you have to bring to the table. Most of the closing costs are built into the loan, which is another unique thing that we have. And most banks don't do that. They they ask you to put 3% down, maybe 5%, and they not only do that, but you have to pay the closing costs that could amount to another $5,000. So, and we include that into the loan. And so basically that's, and you can, for those people that own a home already, there is refinance, especially for those people that have 7%, 6%. I've seen them. We can bring it down to current rate right now. It's 4.9 to 4.3. And the reason is because we keep our rates active and we don't change them for a whole week.
The other thing I wanted to point out was that we lend up to 97% loan to value, which is really important here in the sense that, like Jose was saying, you're not going to be tied to private mortgage insurance or any of those additional costs that you might incur with any of the other FHA loan products. So our loan is, I like to call it as, or the way I like to look at it is, it's let's say the conventional loan and the FHA loan got together and made a baby. Then our loan product would be the baby and have the best of both worlds, where it's still a conventional loan product, 3% down, no PMI. It's a pretty good loan product out there.
Let me go back to the grants now, okay? We normally have one of our strengths, you know, is that we have I would say between 7,500 and 20,000, and it is possible that you can go up to 45,000. That can be explained a little bit more maybe next time, but right now you can get definitely at least between 7,500 if your median income is under 80% or up to 120%. And if you may want to call Miguel, or you're going to call me, and we'll explain to you how the chart of the medium income works, and if you would qualify for, you know, any
For any of
grants,
these grants,
any
right,
grants, yes.
But as loan originators for Neighborhood Lending Services, it's our job to be able to place you into any available grants out there. So we're not, holding on to the money. It doesn't do us any good to just hold on to the money.
course
We
not,
want to give it
yeah.
out to those that qualify. So we're definitely going to do our best to put you into any of those qualifying
Yeah, definitely.
programs.
And that's what makes Neighborhood Lending Services basically the lending arm of Neighborhood Housing Services, NHS. That we have tons of money to give out, and a lot of people are not taking advantage of it because if you are within those guidelines of 80%, 80 to 120%, you may. And then we have other sources that are not only from the city, that 10,000 here, 15,000 for home improvement, if the rehab is over 30,000. So, I mean, as long as you don't go past 45,000, you're fine. But
And like Jose was mentioning, there's the best case scenario is that you qualify for multiple grants and we can layer them into your loan. But a lot of ducks have to fall in order for us to be able to make that happen. But there's still a lot of resources for us to be able to help you with. Worst case scenario is you end up with a really low down payment with no private mortgage insurance, which could end up saving you a lot of money over the course of 30 years.
oh, definitely. And we can give you an analysis also as to if you went FHA or you go conventional. And obviously FHA is not a bank. They only insure loans with many other area banks. So that you know that FHA is not a lending institution. They just guarantee between, I would say, between 20 and 100%. It's considered that most banks will give you a loan and they will not be conventional. And some of them are conventional, and they still, put a lien on it. You know what I mean? We still put a lien on a property, but, it's going conventional is a lot better than FHA. But if you can't, as a last resort, we can do FHA through another lender that's nonprofit and that we work with within our system.
Yeah, so I think the point is that we have resources to be able to help you out regardless of what your current situation is. But I'd welcome any potential home buyers or even those that already have pre-approvals from other lenders to give us a call and at least let us take a look at your loan estimates and whatever situation you're currently in, so that we can just kind of analyze it. Jose and I are more than happy to compare side by side, so we can compare apples to apples, and we'll we can see what the better fit for you is.
And to wrap this up, basically, want to make sure that you call Miguel Alcacio at 773-329-4104 or myself, Jose Pletz, at 329-4115. And certainly we'll be glad to answer your questions and put you into your next house.